Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome. I'm very pleased to be joined by Natalia Herrera. Natalia is a new technology and hydrogen consultant with MYTILINEOS. MYTILINEOS, as many of you know, is a major project developer working in the area of renewables. And Natalia is based in Chile and is working on one of their, I think there are 5 or 6 projects that your company is working on across various different markets. Obviously, a headquarters as a Greek company. So you've got a hydrogen project in Greece, also in Italy, Spain, the UK, and Chile, I believe. So a lot happening for the business. But maybe if you could give us, background both to yourself and to the business and the work you're doing in Chile.
Okay, thank you, Nadim. So yes, I'm really happy to be here for this interview and happy to introduce what we are doing. So my name is Natalia Herrera, as you said. I'm the project director for the Chilean projects of in hydrogen, in fact. And as you said, MYTILINEOS was born in the 50s, producing metal like steel and aluminium. And since there, we produce our own energy for these for the manufacturing of these plants in Greece. And so we developed the expertise of being EPC company for PV projects. And actually, we are present in more than 30 countries around the world. Only in Greece, we produce metal. And in the other countries, we work with energy. So basically, when we arrived in Chile, we started doing EPC for our clients, building their PV plants. And then when we established very well in the country, we signed our first PPA, and then we started to develop our own PV projects. Actually, we are finishing the construction of 4 projects. In total, they are 580 megawatts of PV. And we are also starting the development of green hydrogen projects for the domestic and the exportation of these new sector of business.
And what are some of the challenges you're seeing there in Chile? Obviously, people were talking initially a lot of noise around the mining sector, but are there other sectors, and how is the market developing in Chile?
Okay, so in general, we talk a lot of Chile as a exportation country, let's say. We are always targeting to produce ammonia to be sold in Asia or in Europe. And in our case, we are wishing to develop both kind of projects for the domestic consumption and for the exportation as well. But in the case of the domestic consumption, one of the challenges is to really find the client to consume this hydrogen. Everybody is talking about the mining sector, but in reality, there is no consumption of hydrogen right now in the field of the trucks, for example. And for example, we were also analyzing a project that will produce hydrogen next to the airport of Santiago, but in reality, this airport is not able to consume any kilo of this hydrogen yet because they don't have, for example, machines or other vehicles, for example, that will consume this hydrogen. So that is the main difficulty on developing a project, because anyway, when you start with this kind of projects, the first thing that banks or investor or my company will ask me, okay, but do we have a buyer?
Yeah, exactly.
And so if not, and you say I will find it, okay, but when? And you are investing money on this. And in the case of the exportation, it's almost the same, you know. We can say that we will have a very cheap hydrogen in the future, in the 2030, etc., and that we are targeting Europe and Japan. I was in Japan 2 weeks ago, and they don't even hear about Chile. I mean, I was there representing my country as a listener, but the Australians, the Americans, and the Canadians were there showing everything they were doing to promote this new industry and to attract from now the potential investors or off-takers that the Japanese are, because actually they are buying everything. They are not talking only about green hydrogen. They are talking about gray, blue, etc. from now.
Right.
So I think the challenge in that case is to really realize, in the case of Chilean companies, that you need to start knowing the potential of taker from now, to be signing an MOU in 2-3 years with a Japanese company. This will not happen from one day to another. And that is a big challenge. And the other huge challenge, even bigger than that, I think, is to have all the permitting schemes really clear, and not easy to do them, but clear to proceed in a development of a project. In Chile, actually, there are more than 50 projects under development that are aiming to export ammonia, but there is only one port. So if you don't have teletransportation, let's say, it will be difficult to sell this ammonia to another country if you don't have a port to do it. And in general, managing the permittings to have this ready to be built, it's take you more than 50 months. So
Wow,
it's
50
too
months.
much
That's that's a long
yes.
time. And then you
Yeah,
have
it
to
is
build. Then you have to
medium
build the
time.
port, or is that 50 months is just for the permissions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you have to build the port.
Okay.
So 2023 is almost done. If you
Yeah.
add 40, 50 months, you have 4 years approximately.
Yeah.
And then the construction time, 7 years. So you are in the 2030.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah. And you mentioned there is a port already in Chile. And where is that port?
Is in the second region. This region is called Antofagasta, and the port is called Mejillones. For sure, we have other potential port that we may adapt, but also this adaptation is taking time. As much time, almost. It will be also maybe the 40 months. The only difference maybe that is that the port is already built, and then you will manage the construction of this additional part of the port. But anyway, you have also this permitting timing that is too long.
And so the government needs to try and speed up that process, I assume, if it wants to be a serious player on the sort of fast growing market for clean fuels or hydrogen and its derivatives.
Should be a priority. It's like the government for sure will respect the communities, the local communities, the environmental, everything will be respected in the case you want to develop a new port. But I think sometimes in this case, if you really want to position yourself as a country, as a leader in the future, as Australia is doing, Canada is doing, and US are doing, you need to give a priority on this kind of permitting, because if you don't do that, all this hydrogen will be blocked at our doors finally.
Yeah. And in terms of you're obviously one company with one project, and you mentioned there was a pipeline of 50 projects. How does the port actually get built? Do you have to actually form a consortium, or you all have to pressure the government, or what happens next to get that key infrastructure built?
It's a very hard lobby work. For example, in the south of the country, MYTILINEOS doesn't have any project under development. Strategical reasons for that, but even though in the Magallanes region, you have more than 15 projects under development, and most of those companies are doing partnership to share the infrastructure. That is great to do, but for sure, not all of those projects will become alive finally. You will not have 15 projects over there. It's impossible. So I think the projects that will be successful will be those where they manage to put all the companies in the same wave. And you reach to have an agreement, a common agreement to finally have one port to export this ammonia from different companies, etc. So it's a question of a lot of talking and agreements and being open to work with a company with another different culture of way to work, and look for a common, how can I say, benefit.
Yeah,
finally.
understood. Well, there's obviously a lot to do, and some of the timelines are obviously going to take some time, both to build, I guess, domestic demand, but also key infrastructure points. So you're going to be speaking at the second edition of our World Hydrogen Latin America conference, which is fast approaching us. It's going to be in Santiago on the 12th to 14th of December. We've got a huge interest and a big body of people looking to come down to Santiago, and indeed also obviously domestically attending. So thank you, Natalia, for sharing your thoughts today, and we look forward to hearing from you and meeting you face to face at the conference.
Thank you, Nadim. I will be really, really happy to be there again for a second year, and really happy to share more about our insights and challenges that as a company we are facing to develop good projects.
Excellent. Yeah, looking forward to it. Many thanks.
Thank you.